a year when activities surrounding elections are not so frenzied, the umpire still finds itself under fire. This time in a literal sense, as some of INEC's offices have come under attack in recent times. Another governor's meeting, another set of resolutions. But what is the crux of the matter? We'll be finding out. Also on Political Update today, we shall explore non-combat options in Nigeria's fight against insecurity as religious leaders and opinion shapers sue for peace and national unity. I am Fisayo Ogunfui. Welcome. Governors on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have called on the National Assembly to expedite action on the passage of the Electoral Act to ensure free and fair elections in the country. The governors met in Ibadan.
This is the second PDP Governors Forum meeting held outside Abuja since the forum started, rising from the meeting where they deliberated on issues affecting the country, particularly insecurity, governance, restructuring, among others. The forum urged the president to send an executive bill to the National Assembly to amend the Nigerian Constitution to devolve more power to the state with respect to security arrangements.
The meeting agreed that the police force still remains appropriate institution to secure our democracy and should not be subjected to personal attacks. The welfare, training, equipment, funding of all security agencies should be given priority.
The forum, according to its chairman, supported the earlier position taken by the Nigeria Governors Forum and recently by the Southern Governors Forum to adopt ranching as the most viable solution to the herders-farmer clashes in the country. They enjoin Nigerians to work together to achieve peace and harmony devoid of discrimination in the country. 12 governors from the PDP state across the country attended the meeting.
Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission has come under fire in recent time. I mean real fire this time. Some INEC offices have come under attack in parts of the country with offices razed, vehicles burnt, and properties vandalized. This development is raising huge concerns. Let's hear some views.
As it happens, we have not had a situation where we can get at the root of this. What is actually causing this? We are talking of national assets. The work that the commission does is not anything that we think that attracts fire, but it happens. So we don't really know what is happening, but we do know that it portends danger for the society.
Perhaps negligence, perhaps lack of, capacity within INEC itself to be able to deal with these challenges. In many of the cases, it's not clear that it's political. So I'm more interested in us looking at it from the point that there are things that has to happen that it is orchestrated by political. We must not lose sight of the fact that there are internal collaborators.
INEC too should arrange for private security guard to augment, because I can't see a division police officer sending more than 3 or 4 people in the local government, because he too has to protect his own station. So that thing must be there. We should explore the facilities of private guards, and we should work in synergy with the divisional police officer to ensure that every night, any person on night duty comes there and visit the INEC offices and the outskirts.
INEC really need to publicize the full implication or the extent of damage, to their equipment, to their materials when these things happen, and draw the attention of the public and the relevant security agencies to that matter.
The respondents were speaking on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria. Now, joining us via Zoom is the INEC National Commissioner for Information and Voter Education, Mr. Festus Okoye. Mr. Okoye, thank you for joining us today. I want you to first quickly react to some of the things that the respondents mentioned in that brief interview.
Well, I heard their views, and some of the concerns they raised are germane and they are genuine. There are some INEC offices that the fire was as a result of electrical challenges, and there were some that we cannot explain. But the recent ones that have become systematic and consistent, we believe that those ones clear acts of sabotage meant purposely to derail the Commission's preparations for the off-season governorship elections and the 2023 general elections. And so we are looking at it holistically, and we are going to meet with the resident electoral commissioners tomorrow. And then on Friday, we meet with the Interagency Consultative Committee on election security for us to get to grips on some of these issues, because you don't prepare for elections overnight. Some of the materials that have been destroyed, some of the equipment that have been destroyed are things that we have to place order for, and sometimes it takes six months to 1 year before they can arrive. And so we need to really look at them and see in what ways and by what means we can get a hold on what is going on.
Okay, as we clear this smoke, has this development affected your activities in this area where these incidents have taken place?
Well, definitely yes. This is because we have just completed the expansion of voter access to the polling units. And this expansion and the mechanics and verification relating to it took place in all the 774 local government areas. Those places are the places where activities take place, where electoral activities take place. It was these local governments that did the georeferencing of the polling units and the voting points that have been converted into polling units. They are the ones who were able to advise the commission relating to the security issues in some of these places. And so it has definitely affected us, because in some of these local governments have not really submitted some of their reports. And we have done auditing of what we have in all the local governments across the country, and so that we will know where we have shortfall and what we need to provide. Now, as we are auditing, as we are getting ready, these 5 incidents are taking place, and it's distracting us in a very fundamental way.
Have you established a trend? Because I think it was Ian Fleming who said one is happenstance, 2 is coincidence, the 3rd one is enemy action. We have Arochukwu, we have Obuloafo, we have the one in Akwa Ibom. And is there a trend so that you can forestall wherever you may think those things might prop up again?
Well, that is why we have fixed a meeting with the resident electoral commissioners who are on ground relating to this particular issue. We are going to get briefing from them tomorrow. And then after we get briefings from them tomorrow, we are going to hold a meeting of the commission on Thursday. And thereafter, on Friday, we hold a meeting with the security agencies under the auspices of Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. And then if there may be the need to map out new, innovative, and creative strategies on how to overcome some of these challenges. Because if it becomes a pattern, if it becomes a trend, and if we continue to lose our generators, if we continue to lose our smart card readers, if we continue to lose our ballot boxes and voting cubicles and so on, and other sensitive materials, it will distort our planning, and it will also distort our programming and our preparations for these elections.
All right.
And as you know,
go ahead.
we are about to...
All right, let me quickly ask you this before I let you go. We have a second conversation. Let me quickly ask you this question. We have also on the shoulders of this expansion of polling units, the continuous voters exercise, which I think you flagged off already. Is it ongoing or is it about to start?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The continuous voters registration exercise, is it ongoing? And if it's ongoing, what are the requirements?
No, we have not started. The program will be flagged off on the 28th day of June, 2021. What we are doing is that we have just finished with a movement of the polling units, the expanded polling units to the locations where they are supposed to be. In other words, all the voting points and voting point settlements have been created, and they are now full-fledged polling units. Some of them have been located to served and unserved areas. That's what we have just completed. Now we are beginning with preparations for the continuous voters registration exercise. We have to conduct training. We have to bring in our new generation enrollment device. And the electoral officers are the managing directors of our elections, and they are the ones who are going to be doing this. If the office has been burnt, you cannot do voters registration in the air.
No.
So what is going on is completely unacceptable, and the commission is viewing it with all sorts of concern, because our offices are part of our national assets and part of symbols of democracy. And when you touch them, you are touching our symbol of democracy and you are touching our national assets.
Thank you very much. We've had Mr. Festus Okoye, Commissioner, National Commissioner on Information and Voter Education. And while you are putting those things together, perhaps it might be prudent to also add fire extinguishers as well. All right, moving on now. The labor impasse in Kaduna State has entered its second day. The NLC leadership, however, says its doors remain open for dialogue.
Members of various labor unions carrying placards with different inscriptions converge on NLC Kaduna State Secretariat in continuation of their strike.
The issue is simple. You sack 7,700, reinstate them. You are planning to sack 11,000. Don't do that. Simple.
I'm calling the attention to the governor of Kaduna State to bring it into dialogue with the Nigerian Labour Congress so that they will have the next line of action.
Meanwhile, the law in socio-economic activities continues as a result of the NLC strike. Public power supply shut down, while schools, hospitals, train services, and Kaduna Airport remain closed.
Meanwhile, in a reaction, Governor Ahmed El-Rufai declared the NLC President Tayo Awaba wanted for economic sabotage.
He should report to the nearest police station or report to us. He will be prosecuted for economic sabotage.
Is there any ground for compromise between the two parties?
There is no grounds for compromise. They have used their last ultimate weapon. It will not change anything. We will not change our position. And that's it. Thank you.
We simply say, watch this space. Now, in a reaction, the All Progressive Congress Governors Forum has appealed to all patriotic Nigerians, including the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, to demonstrate more commitment towards engaging governments at all levels to address the problems. The APC Governors Forum Chairman, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, in a statement said, this critical point of Nigeria's democratic journey, there cannot be limits to engagement between all governments and citizens, and called for urgent steps to resolve the current face-off between Kaduna State government and the NLC. All right, that's where we are concerning that. Of course, we'll continue to track it with all seriousness. Now, some experts say many shades of outlawry being manifested in different parts of the country point to the relatively easy recruitment of the nation's youth into dangerous and daredevil gangs and criminal organizations. They posit that a massive provision of opportunities for wealth creation could counter the propensity for crime. Honorable Sam Onuigbe of Umuahia North, Umuahia South, and Ikwan of Federal Constituency today joins us on Police Go Update. Thank you for your time. Let's start quickly from there because of, our time here, from the conversations we've said before. You have also been of the school of thought that creating opportunities very quickly will help us out of our youth being ready cannon for violence.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I've always stood, and that's where I'm standing. Because you have to keep the youths busy in a very productive way. And once people are engaged and they have hope, they have a steady means of livelihood, it will be difficult for the person to wake up in the morning and begin to plan on how to carry on or how to embark on any strike. So that's perhaps why I have focused, apart from infrastructural development and other things. In the last a little over a year, I have focused on how to empower the youth in my own constituency. I've done several of these. Right now, I'm empowering them on, smallholder farming or agriculture, poultry, and things like that. I've been able to do this, and the success level is unparalleled. In fact, I have done it a number of times, but this last time, once we advertised it, the number of persons that came out, they're in thousands. And even some of them tried to break our office. Because we announce it over the radio, and we also put it online for people to come and pick up the forms free of charge. And then in return, after screening, which was across board, across party lines, because it's not a question of PDP or APC. party is not written, hunger does not appear on any particular face. So we make it across border party lines, and the response is huge. And those who received this support in the first phase, you need to come, you need to hear their testimonies. They come home.
So what you're saying is that the Nigerian youth, if he has the avenue, the opportunity, is resilient.
Check yourself and compare the achievements of Nigerian youths, Nigerians across the world. You see our youths all around the world coming out with fantastic grades, serving in some of the exclusive locations in the United States, wherever. And you know that once you give them this opportunity, they always excel. Similarly, if you keep them busy, like I've just narrated, I'm talking of practical, verifiable experience from my standpoint, from my constituency. It's out there. If it's not true, people can counter it. That these people, once they are busy, they are prepared. I mean, why does anybody truly just want trouble for trouble's sake? The answer is no. If people are positively and productively engaged, you see the result is fantastic. And I'm talking of an experience that is verifiable, not an imaginary one.
All right, give us some other options. We were talking of green economy and all that. You have been a champion of, maximizing what we have in the environment and using it prudently for national development and also, self-actualization to a point. Just continue from that last conversation.
Okay. Well, it's an open secret that the experience we have had so far from the devastating impact of climate change is not helping. Last time when I was there, I talked about those who are out of job, maybe from the area of like Chad, the Sahel region and all that. There are some of the youths that have pushed down, and there are some of the youths that have become ready cannon folders for people who want to turn them into murder weapons. And I'm saying that if we focus well on using the initiatives, the actions we are taking in containing the bad impacts of climate change, like through smart agriculture, green economy, renewable energy, where these young people can, through solar energy and all that, get engaged, become productive. There's tremendous chance for us to, while we are talking about the problems, the negative side of climate change, then we also have the other positive side where we can, through green economy, grow these young ones, grow the economy, and still have the environment intact. So that's precisely where we're going. And I'm happy to bring in at this point the efforts we're making in the House. And I want to use this opportunity and commend the Minister of Justice and also the Minister of Environment. They are working together with me under the instruction and directive of Mr. Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, for us to be able to work on the climate change bill and get it out as soon as possible, have it passed, and by the grace of God, get a presidential assent so that the positive sides of climate change, our fight against it, mitigation, adaptation, and all that are capable of helping young people get busy, we can benefit from those ones.
And what has been the response like, especially from perhaps your youth and all that, in terms of, helping to make some of these dreams come true, not just on paper? There's a difference between concept and actuality.
Well, I would not be repeating myself because it's important for us to say this over and over again. Go and do a little study about the people who are now focusing on how to use solar energy, renewable energy. It's creating fantastic employment, saving the environment, and increasing production in so many areas. You see what is going on. Even check what the Moroccans have done as far as solar energy is concerned. Check even what they are doing now in the United States, what President Biden is doing to create employment through that angle. So for us from Nigeria, we need to key in, and speedily too, so that we are not left behind. Because you find that countries like the European Union, they've given a date when they will start using fossil fuel. Chinese have done that. A lot of them are moving towards electric cars and all that. So we need to key in speedily. And what I'm saying is that from what we have seen and what we have read in these other countries, they are using the fight or how to contain, the negative impact of climate change, how they are containing it. They've used it now to create employment and to get people, working while they're preparing on how to reduce greenhouse house emissions that comes through fossil fuel. So we need to be careful, because if we don't do it quickly, you discover we have our fuel and we have no one to buy it.
All right, let's, before we come for our final words, let's quickly take this one. Religious leaders are lending their voices to the call for national peace, reconciliation, and unity. Islamic scholar Sheikh Ahmed Gumi and his Christian counterpart, Pastor Yohana Buru, made that commitment in Kaduna.
My Bible tells me, come, let us reason together. Let's reconcile. Make peace with all men at all costs. With holiness, we see God. Blessed are the peacemakers. Peace is our watchword. Peace is what we want in Nigeria. If negotiating on dialogue table will bring the solution to us, let's go.
We are all Nigerians. We should stop hostilities and see it go between men. Men of consciousness go in between and resolve this matter. It's resolvable. It's achievable.
Final word. You've traced a bit of our problems also, to the issue of climate change, which you have said, issues of, depletion, desert encroachment and all that. So how do we begin to fight this, especially since we are seeing so much in terms of strife, farmer headers, movement, migrations and all that. How do we, give us in a few short words what to do?
Oh, well, what to do? One, I've talked about the bill and for us to have a law and be able to attract investment, And I've also talked about people being on board, coming on board, having young people right from primary school, secondary school, for them to be very conscious of the environment, to know that there are things you do that are irreversible. So that we also have to do as a people. But the other one is for people to be conscious of the fact that we're not talking about climate change firing warning shots. You saw the Ayetoro. You showed it on television the other day. Those are impacts of climate change. You can see how devastated the area is. It's like that in some other areas, around the south, where canoe fishermen can no longer fish. We've talked about what is happening within the Sahel region. We're talking about the drying up of Lake Chad and how ordinary people who depended on those areas to do farming, animal husbandry, and all that, how they don't have job now and they're pushing that. So all hands must be on deck. Tree planting where you have to plant. You don't have to fell a tree and then fail to replace. And then discourage people from, the unnecessary use of firewood by providing maybe gas and clean cook stoves so that we protect the environment and also protect the health of those
and also the ripple effect of insecurity in past as well. We've had Honorable Simon Oigbo, always a pleasure to have you, giving us non-combat options to fighting insecurity. And earlier, of course, we had the Commissioner of Voter Education and of Information from INEC, Mr. Festus Okoye, on the issues of arson and attacks on INEC facilities, as well as you also being on the program, not to forgetting the face-off between NLC and the Kaduna State government. My name is Fisayo Ogunfi. Thanking you for staying tuned. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your week on the Nigerian Television Authority, where we give you the very best of news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.